Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Friday Roundtable. We've got a full docket. Everybody is here today. We are ready to go. We're going to be talking about San Jose State Spartans. But before we do, let's bring on everybody real quick. I want to talk to you, Justin. We have some visitors this week, and I'd love to know, how that works. Anybody of note that you really want us to focus on? What's something that the fans should know about who's visiting this weekend?
Yeah, so it's a good little mixture. You've got some of the commits coming in, which is always good. The number one linebacker, Tyler Atkinson, committed over the summer. That was a big recruitment. He's coming home for the first time. He had a real big game for Grayson last week. A couple others, Yaheem Riley, a local kid's going to be there. I wouldn't be surprised if Max Wright and Nicholas Robertson make their way to Austin as well. But more notably are the 2027 targets, and the biggest name there is Kavian Bryant. That's quarterback out of Palestine Westwood. He's a 4-star. He's the number one rated kid right now in the Rivals recruiting rankings. That's the one that people want to know about and talk about. Right now, I think it's a Texas Tech, Florida State battle. I'm actually kind of leaning more towards Florida State and Texas Tech right now. But right now, Texas gets a chance to put on a show in front of him. I think that's big. Actually, and there's some really good young 27 receivers that are going to be in the mix. I'm a big fan of Alvin Mosley. He's out of Alameda Crawford. He's more of an athlete than he is a receiver, 6'1", about 160, 170, but he's a guy the Texas staff is really big on. Trey Moore, that's a local kid that's getting a lot of pub lately out of Pflugerville Weiss. That's another one that I think is going to be a primary Texas target here over the next few months. He had a huge game. I believe it was last Friday. I think he had 3 scores. That he is he's putting himself in a real good position with this staff. Aiden Starling, Houston Cougar commit. That's a wide receiver. He'll be there with teammate from Shadow Creek, Chris Stewart, who's also a Texas commit. And so right now, this is pretty much a basic first game of the season, hosting San Jose State type of recruiting list. You love to get the out-of-state commits back on campus. Anytime that happens, that's a good thing. And they're going to try to put their best foot forward against Kavian Bryant because I think they have a little bit of catching up to do there.
If you haven't been reading InsideTexas.com, first of all, shame on you. But there's obviously you're feeling maybe some feelings about that opening game, wanting to know how the team is doing, wanting to know what's going on. And we're going to get into that. But before we do, I want you to join us at InsideTexas.com. It's for $1 American dollar. It's going to give you a subscription to The Athletic. Come over there, see what we've got going on for at least a week. And I guarantee you're probably going to want to stay because the information is so solid. But for those folks that are just learning about InsideTexas.com, Eric, what is the sense around the team? Obviously, I think there was some disappointment coming out of Ohio State, but what is the feeling going into this next game?
Yeah, I mean, they were disappointed with the loss, of course, but it's not the end of the world. They didn't take it nearly as hard as some fans did. They realize they've got some small things to fix and clean up. They've got time to do so in the next couple of games. You got San Jose State coming in. I expect to see almost every defensive player on the roster play, even a lot of the freshmen. Certainly almost all the defensive backs are going to play. San Jose State likes to spread you out, make you cover the whole field. They're going to throw it deep if they can, if they have time. They worked on pass rush a lot. And now they got Ohio State didn't give them a whole lot of opportunities. They should have those opportunities this week. But pretty much the whole next couple of weeks before the Florida trip revolve around Arch Manning and whether or not he's ready to step into that big environment again. Number one, we're going to want to see mechanics. He's had a good week with mechanics. Of course, he never had that issue that he showed in the shoe before. That seems to be cleaned up. He had a good week. The offense was a little bit hit or miss. Some of that has to just do with still developing cohesion. Arch, on top of having to worry about himself and making the right plays for himself, has to worry about his young offensive players are doing the right thing as well. That's pretty much been the focus, that and figuring out returners on special teams.
I want to go we're going to talk to Ian and Paul here in a second. But before we do, I want to hear from one of our favorite sponsors and someone that's obviously very close to the family here, our very own Laura Baker.
Hi, I want to tell you about Laura Baker. If you're looking for a new home in the 512 or even at this point, let's face it, 737 area code, there's only one number to call. That's Laura Baker at 512-784-0505. As a member of the elite Andy Allen team with Keller Williams, Laura has helped Longhorns find the home of their dreams in Central Texas. Just ask our resident sex symbol, Ian Boyd, who moved all the way from Michigan to Texas with Laura's help. Laura can help you find what you're looking for in the 512, the 737, or even parts of the 254 and the 210. Just, give her a call at 512-784-0505. Her email is in the description as well as the rest of her contact details. She's a friend. Give her a call.
I want to go over to Paul and Ian here. Paul is our resident author of Thinking Texas Football, and we want you to get a copy of this today. This is the Texas Longhorn football prospectus. It is something that I refer to every single week. It is a long season. There's a lot of football ahead of us, and we really hope that you can check that out. So please get the link in the description and get a hold of that today. Paul, Ian, what are some things that we should be looking for? I guess maybe another way of framing this question is, what do you want to see this week that is going to give you confidence moving through the rest of the season based on the sample size at Ohio State?
I'll go first if you don't mind, Ian. I said sort of half jokingly, and now I think it's a pretty good idea that Arch should take every throw. I mean, Sark should take every throw that Arch missed and make that his script in the first half. Let's take the 10 throws that you missed. Let's take the 10 concepts that you missed from the very opening play that should have gone for 25, that overthrow that he missed. He turfed in the right before DeAndre Moore to, some of those cross or mesh concepts that he didn't throw it to the right guy. Let's take those, put them in a script. We'll throw a counter play, a run play in between each one of them. And that's our opening first half script. And the idea is Hoosiers, right?
Sure.
You show up and you measure and you say the basket's 10 feet. So those open concepts are the open concepts against Ohio State, and they're open against San Jose State. You just have to make the throw. It's the net's still the same distance from the floor. The free throw line is still the same distance. And I think if you do that, it kind of could get Arch over that. I don't want to say it was the yips. I didn't see, like him wild-eyed and panicked, but clearly he was off. And clearly the game was big, and you could tell. And we need to make the game in general feel smaller and more approachable for him. So I would actually do that. And Ian and I were joking about it. And as we were talking, we were like, one, that's actually a pretty good idea. And two, that's actually something Sark would do. So we'll see.
Where do you land on this, Ian?
I think something we definitely want to see, not necessarily something that will be put us all at ease, but they need to punch the ball in the red zone. Obviously. Now, if they do, does that mean they're going to punch it in next time they play a great team on the road and they're on the 2-yard line with 1 or 2 shots to go? Maybe not. But it'd be nice. It'd be nice to see if they had the ability to execute something cleanly on the goal line. If they had players that they knew can find the goal line. It'd be nice to see Baxter be able to bowl his way in there, or Manning execute a quarterback run game concept cleanly, or run a rub route on the perimeter, something. Give us something that looks clean and something that they can reproduce against better competition.
Cookie, we unfortunately haven't heard your voice. I'm curious what, one of our deepest rooms, and this kind of piggybacks on what Ian is talking about, is the running back room. I'm curious, do you think we're going to see a little bit more of that depth in these next few weeks, specifically starting with San Jose State? And who are you looking to see in the backfield?
I just got done editing most of the roundtable, and there was a lot of the written roundtable that we have on Inside Texas, and a lot of Christian Clark. We saw C.J. Baxter. Good to see him back. Kind of still looks like he's coming off a knee injury. Saw Quintravian Wisner. Kind of still looks like Quintravian Wisner. So what does Christian Clark look like? How has he recovered from his Achilles injury? What does Jarrett Gibson look like? This was a player that we had heard and Eric, Justin, everybody had heard during the spring that they had really wanted to invest in him and see him take another step to become an every down back. This is going to be a team where you can get those opportunities to make some in-game mistakes, make some in-game plays. So I'm both those guys. And then if it gets to a certain point, I'm ready to see what Ricky Stewart can do. I was a fan of his in the 2025 recruiting class. I like James Simon. I like Ricky Stewart a little bit more, and want to see what he can do with the ball in his hands, maybe against San Jose State's 2s and 3s.
Well, it is, it is that time of the show where we're going to go through and we'll go through our predictions for this, maybe giving us a score and what you really hope to see here. We're going to start with you, Eric, then we'll go Justin, Ian, Paul, and Cookie. You're going to close us out. So, Eric, what do you, I'd love to hear your thoughts on where you see this game going. Maybe give us a score prediction.
Yeah, I've got it 45-3. I do think that there's the possibility for there to be a few bumps along the way. San Jose State's going to junk up the defense, give Arch some foggy reads. Texas is going to overwhelm them with talent, even when they go into the third level of the depth chart. However, I think the more you go deeper into the bench, the more likely you're going to have mental mistakes. The game could be a little bit ugly at times, but I still got it 45-3 Texas. Those young guys are going to bring a lot of energy and a lot of effort because they're competing. They want more snaps. They realize Ohio State, you're going to have a shorter leash on how many players you utilize. This game is going to be wide open. Guys are going to be hungry to play. Some guys are going to be getting their first action. There's going to be some really exciting moments with some young talent, and there's probably going to be a mistake or two. But overall, Texas is going to be better for playing San Jose State this weekend.
Where do you land on this one, Justin?
I'm going to go a little bit different. I also had 45-3. I think it's a nice sounding number. I think it's nice. I'd love to see Texas put 50 or 60 on the board just to see it. I don't think they do that in practice. So if you're going against San Jose State, I think that would be a fun go ahead and just let her rip kind of deal. The game needs to slow down for Arch. It's pretty simple. A little too much Red Bull before Ohio State. Needs to bring maybe balance it out to Gatorade or something, maybe a little bit smaller Monster drink or something. I don't know. He was way too amped. The game has to slow down to him, and I think everyone else around him understands that. They were actually in good spirits after the game. Everybody was down, they lost, but that for the most part it was like water off their back. They've been in this kind of situation before where you have to kind of get together. Also, they're on a 2-game losing streak, which I can't remember the last time Sark had that when he was in Austin. And so I like Texas 45-3. We're going to see a lot of 2s and 3s. Hey, the secondary has an opportunity to make plays. Ethan Burke said this really well. They didn't force any turnovers last year in last week, and that's one of their main goals they want to do. This is a perfect time for this secondary to create some of those big plays. I like to see Manny do it. I like to see Michael Taff in the mix, Jelani as well, some of those young corners. It's going to be a fun game. I think this is going to be a game where the fans are really going to get behind Arch. I feel like he's still going to be a little amped up because he's a competitor. But at the end of the day, the game just needs to slow down for Big Boy. It will over time. I don't think they're looking forward to Florida, but they know if they can line up these next 3 weeks, that can turn into be a humongous opportunity in Gainesville. That starts in the morning.
Ian, do you also feel like Justin is reporting that Arch has an amphetamine problem?
There's something.
It's for the brand.
A little ahead of himself. Definitely a little sped up in that game. I went 52-10. I think San Jose State has the kind of offense where they could get a touchdown late in the game, throwing the ball on second, third team secondary. And I think that Sark is going to be eager to get Arch on track, Arch throw bombs, get DKR and Texas fans excited again about the season after last week's disappointment. I also think there's a chance for Texas to put up some cheap late scores when they've got Christian Clark running on the ball on a worn-out defense, or they've got Caldwell or Owens throwing deep to Jamie French or something. I just think we're going to see a lot of possessions and a lot of scoring because of the way both teams are going to approach the game.
Paul, you are apt to disagree with Ian because he's a contrarian. Where do you land on this one?
I find his predictions pretty outlandish. I'm
Okay,
at 45-3. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's unlikely the actual score is 52-10.
Sure.
I did the numbers. So, but yeah, I have it 45-3. In these situations where it looks like Texas should just absolutely destroy someone, I think we've seen Sark, it could be 28-0 at halftime and we still win 45-3, right? Like Lane Kiffin has a different approach. He and Sark come from similar trees, but Lane Kiffin's attitude is like, let's try to beat him 77-3 if we can. Sark will take his foot off the gas despite the metaphor we like to use all the time. I think the defense will be really interesting. Ohio State only threw the ball more than 10 yards from the line of scrimmage 4 times. In their opener, San Jose State did that 13 times, 7 times, 20 yards or more. So their offense has a downfield bias. Interestingly, we did see Colorado State come in, which was supposed to be a comparable offense, like throwing it around a lot. And Jay Norvell just treated it like a paycheck game. Basically, he watched the first couple of possessions and just went, no, like this isn't happening. There's no Cinderella. Let's run the ball into the line and get out of here and get our paycheck. We're going to go try to win the Mountain West. So I don't know if Ken Yamamoto has the same mentality. I think he's more like, hey, we're competitors. We're here to compete. Like when you coach at Navy, there is no sort of they're a Goliath. Let's just try to get through. That's like not the attitude. So I think that San Jose State's going to run their offense and they're going to throw the ball deep and see if we're actually sound back there. So it's fun to play these sort of extreme offenses because they really test aspects of your team that you wouldn't otherwise get tested in a profound way in the non-con.
Well, take us home, Cookie.
I got 55-13. I think all the passing that we're talking about with the spread and shred or run and shoot, there's going to be incompletions. Clock's going to stop. That's going to create more possessions like Ian talked about. That'll give Texas a chance to get up into the 50s. And it'll give San Jose State more opportunities too. I think they'll score. That's why I have them in double digits, but just barely. But I'm really excited to see how some of the second wave secondary players play. We don't have a lot of concerns about Michael Taft, Jelani McDonald. We want to learn more about Grayson Littleton, but he acquitted himself very well in his debut. But how does Derek Williams coming off an injury and Jordan Johnson-Rebel, Xavier Filsaime, even keep going, Kobe Black, even guys like Cade Phillips, they're going to be tested against this passing offense. How do they get ready? How do they take on this challenge this upcoming week? I'm really excited to see that. But I think Texas is going to light up the scoreboard and have people feeling pretty good after feeling down last week.
This has been your roundtable. You may have some questions, some things that you're just not quite sure about. Join us over at InsideTexas.com. The discussion over there is very robust. As Cookie alluded to earlier, the written form of the roundtable is going to be coming out really soon. It's a good opportunity to get involved in the conversation, to get your questions answered over there. So please join us. It is for $1 American. We thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. You guys have a great weekend. Remember, the left lane is for passing.